I use these settings to improve my freestyle and competitive playing over 100%. These settings will either take you to the next rank or improve your freestyle ability drastically. I've done freestyle for a couple years in tournaments against the likes of Jaxi, TX and many others. These settings are ones I've created through all of the years of trial and error, so make sure to stay to the end of the video to see all of my settings. Before I get into the settings, like and comment to push this video on the algorithm, and to hit my like target of 50 likes in this video. In this video I'm going to show you the best settings to do stall resets or flip resets or ceiling stalls. These settings are really good for freestyle in general as well, but they're mainly for stalling and doing ceiling stalls and flip reset stalls, just like this. Just like that. So to start off with, all of these are default except input buffer I think, but I'm not too sure. These don't really matter at all I don't think. Now camera settings, camera shake off obviously, field of view 110. If you like your camera close to your car you might like it at 100 like this. It does seem a bit weird, but for air dribbling and stuff like that it is actually quite good, because you can see right at the top of your car at all times. But I would always have it at 110. Distance, I've got distance at 250. A lot of the time I have distance at 240, but I just feel like in general it's really nice to have a camera setting of 250 for flip resets. This is so you can see more of your car. If your camera's closer to the ball, I think it's a lot more difficult to get these flip resets. So always just having your camera as close to your car as possible isn't always good for freestyle. For flip resets I prefer it further out, just like this. As you can just see your car and ball a lot better. Just makes it a lot easier to do these flip resets. Height I've got 110. That's the same as the distance. You can just see more of your car when you've got it at 110. You can see more over the top of your car as well. So that means you can get better flip resets. I have it at 100 for when I'm doing normal freestyling. So you might prefer to have it at 100. I prefer this for like ground freestyle like this, because you can just be in line with the ball a lot more. But for flip resets I want my camera to be like over the top of my car instead of in line with my car. That's why I've got it at 110 instead of 100, because you can just see more of what you're doing. Now for angle, this is the most important one for flip resets. I've got this at -7. You will see like people who like Gainer and people who used to do tons and tons of flip resets have it around -9. But I just think -9 is way too much. This is you can see right on top of your car. I normally have it around 0.4s, -4, -3. But for flip resets, having it around -7 is just essential, as you can just see, you can see your car so much better. As you can see when I'm doing it now, you can see so much more of the ball, you can see so much more of your car. It's just all around 100 times better. So now the next one is stiffness. This doesn't matter too much I don't think, this is just personal preference, especially for freestyling when you're not really going supersonic. Because what stiffness is, it's basically the higher up it is the more stiff your car is, so the camera doesn't push outwards. But when it's near 0, the camera just pushes out a ton when you're going supersonic, and your car is just extremely far away. So I always have it right in the middle around 0.45. That's my car still moves back a tiny bit, but it doesn't move back tons. This is what I like the most. I recommend you have this a lot as well, as it just helps in general. It doesn't really matter too much of these, because when you're in the air your car's not really going supersonic, so you don't really have to worry about this. So it's just good to have that in general. These -2, I don't think these matter at all. This is just how fast that flicks between your car and the ball. This makes clips look a lot cleaner, because you can just flick away from it really quickly. Like that. That makes your clips look a lot cleaner, so I always have it around 1.4 for both. These are more for comp flicking between car and ball, but for freestyle these don't really matter too much I don't think. So the next one is inverted swivel. A lot of people don't use this or never have even tried it, but I think inverted swivel is really good. I always have it on. This helps multiple flip resets and it also helps your air dribbles, so I always have this on. I can't really explain what it is, but it's just the way the camera swivels on top of your car when you're doing air dribbles and stuff. Like when you're doing air dribbles here, you can see my camera swiveling around. That's basically how the camera swivels like that. And that's the same with flip resets. Your camera moves like that for flip resets as well. Especially when you're doing like heli flip resets and these types of flip resets. It's just a lot better. I would experiment with it, try it out yourself. It's not for everyone, so you might just hate it. But I would recommend just trying it. There's no harm in trying it. And I think a lot of like the top air dribblers, top flip reset people use this as well. I think it's not only just me that uses this, it's a lot of different freestylers. So that's basically everything for the camera settings. Now for my keybinds, everything's default except power slide. That's so I can do these types of wave dashes. Just like this. That's more for comp. But that's just so I can do those. Then air rolling as well. I've got air rolling on air roll left and right. That's really helpful for stalls. And really helpful for stall cancels. So I would really recommend this for if you really want to be able to do these types of stall resets. Because it's just so much easier to stall and stall cancel like this. Like that. It's just so much easier. And also getting heli stalls. It's so much easier to get heli stalls and you've got your air rolls binded like this. Like that. It's just so much easier to get them. And so I would always have your air rolls on left and right. On R1 and R1. The rest of my settings are just default. I don't really care about settings, it's just what you're used to. It's the same for camera settings as well, it's just what you're used to, it doesn't matter at all. So now I'll move on to sensitivities and dead zones. I'll actually move these up to about 0.3. So 2.3 for both of these. The lower down it is, the better for air dribbles. The higher up it is, it's the better for flip resets and musty flicks. It's the ability where your car turns there. That's a lot quicker when you've got it a bit higher up like that. So when you've got it lower down, your car's just in slow-mo trying to go around like that. That's why it's a lot better for air dribbles when it's a lower down. So I always have it around 2.3. I wouldn't have it above 3. I always think 2.3 is a good middle ground for flip resets. Because as I said before, the speed where your car turns around like that, it's just nearly instant. And it's so sensitive that you can just flip immediately and get the reset. Then these two, a lot of people say have it at 0.3. I don't actually like 0.3, I prefer 0.15. I just master the amount that I press on right joystick and left arrow. A lot of people have it at 0.3 and they're like flipping like that. Just master how to do a normal stall before you even change it. Just put it at 0.15 and master stalling, that's all it is. It's not difficult at all. Then dodge dead zone I've got at 0.3. I think this is personal preference as well, it doesn't really matter too much. See, that's what I find best just for jumping around, flipping around, doing stalls. That's just what I enjoy the most. But none of these settings actually matter too much. I think the only one that kind of does matter is the sensitivity ones. But that's the only one that really matters at all. It's just personal preference. I don't use keyboard, so none of these. Interface, I've put this up to 120% so you can see other opponents' names and stuff. This is to change your boost meter colour. I video on everything performance because my computer's just so rubbish that I have to have everything on performance, otherwise it just frames out and lags out. Then audio, I've got this off, I don't really care about audio. Chat, I've got everything default. So that's all of the settings in this video. I've got tutorials for how to stall reset, how to stall, how to ceiling stall, and everything about stalls on my channel. So make sure you check those out before you even move on, as I've got tons and tons of videos out there already. camera settings don't matter at all for these. It's only how you actually do them is what matters. So make sure to check out my tutorials in the link below. Like and sub, and I'll see you next time.